Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little bit. I had planned on doing like WIP and chats once a week or once every other week, but well, that failed. So here I am. I am working on a new kit. It is from Diamond Art Club. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It is Fairy Lights. It's one of those kits from Ivy Dullamore. And I'm using this really pretty pen I just got from Shimmering Canvas. I love her pens. If you buy products or the limited edition boxes that come out every month from my YouTube's, my Etsy store. I'm on YouTube. Wow. It's a good thing I have also my Starbucks. But anyway, we are going to start including these custom pens as an upgrade option. So you obviously don't have to because these are pretty expensive, but we've already made the ones for March because March is coffee themed and they are really pretty, like browns and creams and like a little fleck of green. It's gorgeous. So there will be the option to upgrade and add those to your kit. But yeah, it'll be really fun to play with those. So she's one of my favorite with pens. We already collaborate. Ooh, I missed putting a number 4 there. We already collaborate a ton on drills because she supplies me with drills for my kits and bundles. But it's fun to work with her, and now the pens, because literally I think most of the pens I own are from her. I only own like 2 or 3 from someone else. I am doing some Sweet Tart putty. Look at what we're doing with the putty now. So we're making them into hearts, and this isn't just for Valentine's. It's going to be permanently this way, and it's really fun. So yeah, it's just sad when you finally push your pen into it and kill all of the the work. But I'm using the Sweet Tart scent, which is a February scent, but yeah, I really like this new thing we're doing with the heart. It's just sad because all that work to make that cute little heart, and then well, down it goes, right? See, look. Oh, it's a sad heart now. But we had just made a ton of batches yesterday. I still need to update the Etsy store. I haven't even labeled the bag, but I stole it because I wanted it for myself. Okay. So, first thing first. How have I been? Busier than I want to be. I need to really quickly put this number 4 here because I noticed. Oops. There we go. I love it when you find a missing spot later. You're like, oh no, and I'm missing that one too. Wow, what was I doing that day? Not paying attention, that's for sure. I have a light board and I keep forgetting to like break it out because I swear you put the light board underneath and then you can immediately see what you're missing, right? But yeah, I've been kind of lazy about breaking it out. One, it has these buttons that you accidentally push no matter what angle I put it at. So that's one reason I don't use it, because I'm constantly turning up the brightness, down the brightness, and I'm like, I just want to focus on my painting. But, excuse me, I have been busy lately. I mean, I'm always busy. So I guess that's not like a super big new thing here, but my second book did release on time. For some reason, the paper book came out a day later, 2 days later. So it's kind of all weird on that one. I don't know why it came out late. I think Amazon had like a delay with printing or something. So I have to talk to them because I don't want that to happen with book 3. I want them both to release on the same day. So if people want the paperback, they can get it. Because even the paperback wasn't available for pre-order, which is weird. So I didn't have that problem with book 1. And I'm hoping I won't have that problem with book 3. We're a little extra sticky because this is fresh. If you ever use my putty and it's just a little too sticky, just let it absorb some oil off your hand, your forehead, whatever floats your boat. You can even touch your clothes and put a tiny bit of lint on there. And I emphasize tiny on that one. Oops, that was supposed to go up there. obviously you don't want to put a bunch of lint on it. But yeah, just FYI, if it's ever too sticky, especially when it's fresh, and by fresh, I mean freshly made. By the time these actually go to customers, it's been in inventory for a little bit, so it calms down a bit. But yeah, if it's ever too sticky, that's all you gotta do. So yeah, I have been busy. I was just getting the hang of TikTok marketing, book talk marketing, whatever you want to call it. I was just finally getting the hang of that, and now I've got to start over because I got a job. I was looking for a job. Not that I wanted a job, but I mean, bills and all those adult requirements in life were demanding that I get a steady income of some sort. So I was looking for a job, but then of course we had just kind of started to gain momentum. My books were picking up. My channels have been doing pretty good. You know, I was doing fine, or starting to, like, all my work on like little projects was starting to finally pay off, and then I got offered a job. And I had just spent like a whole week finalizing a plan, you know, for how I was going to, you know, get my books, or how often I was going to release books, publishing schedule, marketing plan, how often I was going to film videos for YouTube. Like, I had created this whole plan, spent a whole week, and then I got a job. So my entire plan is, well, useless right now. But yeah, I needed a job. That much I know. But like, it's so hard to explain. I was even trying to explain it to my husband, but I was like, the second I said yes to that job, I regretted it. And it was just because I was finally getting into a groove with everything I was working on between Etsy and, you know, because for a little bit there I was getting stressed with all the wax melt orders and trying to keep up with all that. But then I just finally got into a groove and things were going well. And then this job came about, and it is project management, which I'm very qualified for. It's basically my background, project and operations management. So like literally anytime I was applying for jobs, those were the ones I applied for, because that's basically the bulk of my work history right there. And so I kind of, you know, figured that's, if I got a job, that was what it would be. But I don't like that type of job. I never have. It's a lot of stress, but it's also just unnecessary stress, because sometimes you just feel like you're babysitting adults, you know, because I mean, half the time you're just being like, hey, are you going to submit this on time? You know, the project timeline is this. And that's just, it's not very fulfilling. You know, I've got kids and a husband to nag at home. I get my nagging done. And then also I just was bummed because I was like, I finally created a plan. I was feeling good about this plan. So yeah, I don't know. I was like, I figured, okay, I'd get a job. And it's just part-time, by the way. I should probably say that. Part-time from home, which is my dream situation. But I don't want to say it was a bad feeling, because it's not a bad feeling. It's a good job. It's just, I felt like I had finally found my groove, and now my groove is gone because, well, I took this job. So yeah, I just regretted it instantly. I was like, oh, I should have taken time to think about it. Like, as in a few days or a weekend. I don't know. Something. I have like barely any wax in this single placer. I don't know about you guys, but I rarely use my single placer. Even when putting down, oops, sorry. Don't thumbs me down for that. I'm gonna have to take coffee sips. But yeah, even when I'm placing down a single drill, I tend to just use my multi-placer. for a few reasons. One, I'm just lazy. I don't feel like turning around the pen when I've already got something sticky. Two, when they're close enough, I like load up multiples and then just drop the 1x1s, you know? So there's that too. But yeah, I rarely use the front. In fact, I'm almost thinking of swapping this out entirely and just putting another multi-placer, like having a shorter one just for those times I need a shorter one. Like when I'm dotting around a few areas that have just singles. So I think I'm gonna do that. I have, like, I think it's a 4-placer from Diamond Art Glue. I don't know. But yeah, so either way, I'm working, of course, with work. So this week is my second full week at work, which is why I didn't record last week, which then also solidified my worry that I wouldn't be able to follow through with my recording plans and all that. And get off there. So here we are, because I'm not able to follow through with my recording plans. I'm sure if I give it some time, I can figure out a way to make it work. It's just there's a lot of meetings, and so even though it's like 5 hours a day, the problem is I honestly feel like I'm still working all day, because I might sit down early in the morning and belt out all my tasks, and then I have to leave a few free hours, you know, for getting stuff done when other people are online or impromptu meetings. But yeah, like, and then it's always like scheduled just throughout the day. So by the time the day is over, I feel like I pulled an 8-hour day because I don't have a long enough stretch to do anything. Like yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm going to go pack orders for Etsy. But then I had some work to do and then a meeting. And so by the time that was done, I didn't have time to do that stuff because my breaks in between meetings and all that were like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So like there just wasn't any time. So that's why I feel like it's taking up all day, even though in theory it shouldn't. But yeah, so it's bumming me out. And then by the end of the day, I'm really tired and my brain is just fried because it's been a while since I've worked. I mean, I've been out of work since June, so it's been a while. But then I like want to sit down and work on my book. And then I've noticed I'm going back to being a total groucho on Sundays, which I hate. That's what I used to always be when I had a job. I just would be so grouchy on Sundays. Like, my kids would avoid me, husband avoid me, because just everyone knows that I'm like, go away. Because I'm sitting there in a pity party about what Monday's gonna bring, you know? So really that's a big part of it, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it some time and maybe see if I just need to adjust, because I do have OCD, and OCD tends to make situations like this extra stressful, because if things aren't going the way you've planned them out, you start to get stressed out about it, you know? And it can be unreasonable to like most people, but makes total sense in my head. So I'm gonna give it till the end of the month and see if like I finally can fall into some sort of routine where I'm not feeling like I'm unable to write, because I am working on book 3, which will come out mid-April. The rough draft is pretty much done of that book. I'm just kind of going through now, and because I'm a pantser writer, as I was writing, I would come up with, I'd come up with some ideas, and so now I'm like going back and adding those ideas in that I had thought of, and then I'll start going through and like fine-tuning it, but I wanted to get those in there first. It's kind of fun when you are a pantser because the story just develops itself, but also it requires you to almost like mentally note, like, so if you mentally note like something, you know, 50,000 words in, you change something up, you need to make a mental note that like, oh, by the way, when I go back, I need to add instances of this near the beginning of the book. So there's some drawbacks too. You have to take notes and kind of, if you come up with ideas, be like, oh crap, I gotta go back through the book and add these in. But you're literally flying by the seat of your pants, hence, well, the name, creative name, right? That little guy must have fallen off there. So yeah, that's the one drawback to being a pantser, is just you gotta really remember what the heck you said and go back and note it. And it's a lot of rereading and probably extra editing, but I don't mind that part as much. Of course, by the time a book publishes, I've probably read, reread, edited it, oh gosh, a dozen times. Even the one that just published at the beginning of this month, I went back and I read it, the published one, and I was so mad because there was a typo. And I've read and edited this book like for 3 weeks straight. Even one of my beta readers who reads it, you know, multiple times herself, she's like, I read that thing 3 times. How did I miss it? Both of us missed it. So I was just like, goodness. I think though what I'm going to do with this next book is, because I seem to catch errors when I'm on my Kindle, so I'm going to like download it in Kindle format, put it on my Kindle, and then read it on there before it's even set up for publishing. And then that way I can kind of go through and make notes. Because I reread it, but it's over and over on a computer screen. And I think that's where I'm just not catching it. Whereas when it's on my Kindle, it's like a beacon going, error, error, you forgot this. Or I'll catch a part where I didn't go back and add something in that I really meant to. But yeah, so the audiobook for book 1, they're almost done with, and then they're going to start right on book 2. So I'm super excited. But yeah, they'll be hopping right onto book 2 immediately. Oops, that was a little sloppy there. So that one will move faster, and then they'll be hopping straight into book 3. So we'll just have back to back, and they're all in duet. That's really important because a lot of romance novels will be dual. So there's a guy doing like his chapters, but he also then does the girl's voice, which never sounds right. It's such a turn off to me. It ruins the whole book. Even some of my favorite audiobook narrators like Teddy Hamilton. Oh, love his voice. Oh my gosh. He is literally up there. He's tied with Jacob Morgan. Him and Jacob Morgan are my go-to. Like, if I see that either of them are narrating that book, I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up. I don't even care what the book's about. I want to read it or listen to it because I love both of them so much. It's my dream that I get Teddy Hamilton or Jacob Morgan to narrate one of my books in the future. I have the option. I can actually go pitch to them, but I need to be a little bit more successful to afford them. So that's where it gets a little sketchy. But I will one day, and you guys can quote me on this, one day Teddy Hamilton will be narrating one of my books, and also Jacob Morgan. And if you don't know who either of those voices are, you need to go find them because they are stellar. I honestly can't say there's ever been a female narrator that gets me as giddy as them, sadly. But yeah, those two, perfection. Other than when they do the girls' voices. Then I'm like, oh. But I mean, it's a guy trying to do a girl's voice. What do you expect? I can't hold it against them. All right, well, enough about books, I guess, right? So, well, what is there? I do have, like a, what was I gonna say? Oh, silly me. I did want to see kind of, like, for those of you who have read my books, what book you want to see after book 3 is done. Should I start a new series? That's the way I'm leaning. I have a lot of series in my head, and there's one I really, really want to start on. So I might do that. But I will come back to this series because there's a lot of characters that people have asked me to work on or write a book on. Oh my gosh. This isn't that like low to my camera. I have more than enough space. It's just I'm lifting up with like vigor, I guess. It's that pop noise I'm chasing because I enjoy it so much. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys want for the next book from this series, even though it'll be a little while because I am going to move on to a different one. But all of my series are like going to be worlds that connect to one another. So even if it's a different series, characters from this one will pop up in the new one. I thought it'd be fun to make my own little world of fun little happily ever after characters. But yeah, I've got that, and I haven't been able to diamond paint or color like at all since I took this job. I had to cut back on wax melts, which really bummed me out. I did, however, release the February limited edition box. I got a ton of messages from you all, and I'm sorry, but they literally sold out in 24 hours. They were just, yep, gone. So I had people messaging the next day. They're like, did you release this? And I was like, I did, but it's gone. So yeah, I definitely suggest always hopping on there. I release it between 7 and 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time because I had a few people that logged in to check, but Eastern Time. So it was before it got released. And don't rely on the notifications because Etsy isn't even notifying me of when like people I follow, shops I follow, are releasing new products and anything anymore. It's quite frustrating. So just go straight to my store and check. I do try to post it in the community chat here, but I don't always remember. So just keep that in mind. I really do try to say it's here, and then I try to put it on Instagram. I'm trying to play around with TikTok, but I'm using that more for my books. My daughter is helping me put my Etsy store on TikTok. But yeah, gosh, that's the thing. I really wish I didn't take this job because I was just starting to get into what I wanted to do. And it's like eating away at me. So I guess we are going to talk about this more. Sorry, this whole WIP and chat's going to be not a woe is me, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I had just finally like found my groove. And that's the other thing. If I stop all the things I had just started, I will have to start over. Like if I pause them all now and start them back up at the end of the month, if I leave this job, I'll be starting over. Like all the traction I've made since then will be gonzo. And that's the part that's scaring me because it's like, okay, I just started to like create this well-oiled machine and I did all this work and planning, and I'm a big planner other than when I write a novel, which is kind of funny. I'm a huge planner. I plan everything in my life except my novels. I can't have an outline. I just start with an idea, maybe jot down a few, like I often write one-liners for my characters, like one-liners that just kind of give off their personality, and that's it. That's as far as I go, and sometimes I don't even do that. Half the time I'll start a book and not even know the main character's name, or it'll change. Never know. I'm just like rolling with the punches. But yeah, I'm mourning my loss. All that time invested and just seeing progress finally. But then at the same time, what stresses me out really is just if I quit this job, it's like I'm losing or I'm quitting an opportunity, you know? And I don't want to do that because like what if things don't go so well here soon, or I don't know. I need a job again. I just turned down like a perfectly, like everyone's dream job. And yeah, it's just, that is the pickle of my life. What do you guys think? Don't worry, it's not like anyone's advice is going to sway me, but I'm just curious what you guys think. because I have literally made a pros and cons list, because that's the type of planner I am. And it's just like every time I look at it, I'm like, it's still tied. I don't know what to do. I'm definitely, I don't want to say I'm unhappy. I'm just not thrilled either. I don't know. I figured taking the job, I'd feel like this big wash of relief, right? Steady paycheck, so that like if I had slow Etsy weeks, because it happens, Etsy's like unpredictable, like Utah weather, I just figured I would know something or feel something of relief there. And instead I felt like dread, like, and then like the second I started and I was doing like all my training, I felt even more dread. And then it was like suffocating. Like the first weekend after I started, that weekend, I like completely shut down. I couldn't read, I couldn't color, I couldn't diamond paint. I literally sat there mindlessly watching TV, a show I didn't even want to freaking watch. So then I got mad that I wasted all that time, because I was like, I could have been diamond painting or coloring or recording a video, or I don't know, working on my book that has a deadline that's quickly approaching, because while it's publishing April 11th, it needs to be done for my beta readers by the end of this month. And then it needs to be ready to go to ARC readers by mid-March. Yeah, there's like, it might be February, but that's actually not a lot of time. So that's my big thing. I don't know, but I'm just not happy, that's for sure. And then I'm also bummed because I was like, oh, that whole wash of relief I had hoped to get wasn't there. Instead, I was like, oh, shoot, what did I do? But, I mean, this is the first time I have diamond painted in 2 weeks. I haven't colored outside of what I do in a live stream, and I hate it because then I'm like, okay, watch it on my silent coloring channel, and then I don't get around to it. I had even started creating all these super fun YouTube channels. So if you're into adult coloring as well, I created an ASMR adult coloring channel that I was going to start playing around with. I also created one that's solely marker coloring, but I haven't started on it. And then I do have my silent coloring channel. Like, I had all these plans and now I can't do any of them. There's just no time. I cut back on wax melts on the Etsy store. That was for my sanity, and that was part of my plan before I even got this job. They were just so time consuming and the profits weren't there. But I restructured how I was doing them to keep them there, and now I can't do that either. So I don't know. But this will be an interesting week. It's weird weather here in Utah, and by weird I mean it's supposedly winter, but we have gotten like zilch for snow. We'll get like good flurries going and it's a pain to drive through, but it doesn't stick. I have shoveled my driveway twice this entire winter, so I don't know what that's gonna mean for droughts, but I have a feeling I won't be watering my grass this year. So, yeah, we got weird weather going on here, but it's got, like, my kids are off all weekend because, was it President's Day? One of those holidays. My house is constantly a disaster, especially since taking this job, because if I'm still working my Etsy store, because I have to, this job isn't full-time, you know, I have to do all this stuff, which means no time to, like, I don't know, do laundry, which I would love to catch up on. I feel like I'm constantly just, my living room is constantly a pile of folded laundry, and I never get a chance to put it away. But don't worry, it reappears in the laundry basket for me to wash. It's like magic. So yeah, that's one thing that's been getting at me, but I don't know. But I feel like I've rambled long enough. I always try to keep these at like a half hour Maybe one of these days I'll do a little bit longer, because I know a few of you commented that you don't mind them longer. But in this case, I've been rambling about the same topic. So to avoid rambling about the same topic for an hour, since that's clearly where my brain has stuttered at, I'll probably end this, wrap this up. Although it has been satisfying getting a little bit more done of this square, even though I have a lot to go. So yeah, a few things. Check out my Etsy store. I do have some new cover minders. They're all cupcakes, because this month's theme was like sweet treats and cupcakes. So I've got tons of cupcake cover minders. Sorry if you can hear my dog hacking her lungs out. She's constantly got fur balls. She's like a cat. But yeah, so we got the sweet treat scents, cupcake cover minders. I will be turning some more pens this week. I do use Shimmering Canvas for a lot of pens, but I actually turned my own. They've been selling. Oh, I should show you some blanks real quick. Okay, so I have a couple blanks of ones I'm going to turn. This one is a bunch of dried flowers. That would be fun. Now, if you look, so Shimmering Canvas's pens are actually just a teensy longer. And of course, this looks huge. These don't, this isn't how it ends. Unless I want it chunky like this, I could leave it chunkier. But obviously, you get it shaved down into shapes and whatnot. But then I've got this one. It's pretty fun, right? Yeah. This one, I can't wait to see how this one turns. Oh, it's gonna be pretty. It's actually got butterflies in the glitter. So, and then I have this one here. It's hard because this one looks cloudy, but it's just because it's rough. It should buff out, or at least I hope it buffs out. My only problem is some of the flowers migrated right to the end. So when I go to turn this, I'm gonna probably need to coat it in resin to seal any flowers that get exposed, but yep, I gotta turn those. It just takes a lot of time. Well, the turning is the fun part. It's the polishing. Like, you know how they get this nice sheen on them? This is not easy. This takes like an hour of your day. So when you wonder why pens cost so much, one, pouring resin is a pain in the butt. There's an art to it. I mean, to get these kind of layers, especially if you consider you put it in a big mold like that and then expect it to come out like this. You have to plan out your layers. That's step one. You have to do that and do it right, which is easy to screw up. Trust me, so many batches of ruined pens. Made them too soft and they just fell apart on the lathe. Then there's the whole art of turning it on a lathe, but that's the satisfying part, but that still takes time. These little lumps and grooves here, this is a lot of work. You have to plan this out. And then there's the polishing, and that's what kills me. I could turn pens till my heart, desires, but polishing, it is like a 9 to 12 step process to polish and buff from what you turn to make it nice and shiny like this. So when you think, why am I paying 65 bucks for this pen? Keep in mind that this one pen here, after you combine all the steps, likely took that person at least 10 to 12 hours to make. Physical, hands-on time to make. Sometimes some more simple ones could take like 6 hours, but still, that's 6 hours. They sell it for 60 bucks on Etsy. After fees, they probably just earned 8 bucks an hour making you that pen. So keep that in mind. I tend to turn on the lathe in bulk and then set aside a day for polishing because I hate polishing. I'm about to teach my son to do it, so I don't have to. It's kind of like with putty. Started making my daughter make putty because I was like, I am so done. I make it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make 80 batches of putty, and yeah. So I'm thinking I might teach him how to polish. I'll still turn them, but I'm thinking he's going to be my professional polisher because these are going to be so pretty once they're polished out. They're nice and shiny and glittery now, but when this gets the polish on it, oh, it's going to be, this one's going to be stunning, actually. I can tell already with the purple. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, I've got quite a few. I have more blanks too. I've got a whole pile of blanks to turn. I just haven't gotten out there because my lathe is in the garage. It's freezing cold. And it's a mess right now. I need to move it to my new table. I got a table that like cranks up and lifts up so I'm not hunched over my lathe anymore. So I need to get that and stuff. But again, with this new job, I don't have the time. Oh my gosh, that's what's killing me. Well, thanks for hanging out with me for another whippin' chat, or whippin' wine as we can call it. Only it would probably be better if I had actual wine and not a Starbucks, right? So, until next time, everyone, take care. Bye now.